My name is Ken MacDonald. I am Senior Vice President of Innovative Products here at Evergreen Home Loans. I've been in the mortgage industry for nearly 20 years now, and I was fortunate enough to come over to and join the Evergreen family back in this past October, with my primary responsibility being this CashUp by Evergreen program. I'm going to keep this meeting very concise and to the point. So I imagine we should be able to finish up around the half-hour mark. As far as the agenda is concerned, I'm going to start off by going through a brief history of Evergreen Home Loans. I'm going to provide an overview of the CashUp by Evergreen program, including some new and exciting program updates that went into effect this past December. I will walk through Homebuyers We Help, benefits for real estate agents. We will have an exciting interview with Amy Trim, who is a sales manager at our Everett, Washington branch. And then we'll end with a live Q&A. Important to note, you can submit questions via the Zoom chat function. And our very own Tamara Rieger, who is COO of Evergreen, will be answering those questions. Tamara is who I consider to be the chief architect of the CashUp by Evergreen program. So we very much have the best of the best as far as subject matter expert on the presentation. So about us, Evergreen is headquartered in Bellevue, Washington. We are a full service direct lender with more than 65 local offices spread throughout the West Coast. For over 3 decades, we have served neighborhoods with affordable home loan products while focusing exclusively on home lending. Don Burton, our president and CEO, started the company back in 1987. It just so happens we have our 35th year anniversary coming up in a few months in April. Don Burton was a realtor prior to starting Evergreen Home Loans. And that realtor mentality has certainly carried through since day one. We are a very purchase-centric lender, always looking for ways to partner and really help both real estate agent and real estate companies succeed. And one of the ways we do that is by always looking for the most innovative products possible to help your buyer get into a home. And of course, one of those very innovative products is the CashUp by Evergreen program. So what is CashUp by Evergreen? CashUp by Evergreen is a unique program designed for home buyers who require a mortgage and need a more competitive offer to help them purchase a home, especially in this red hot real estate market. This program gives them the ability to make a cash offer and level the playing field when competing against other cash offers or offers for more money. So how does it work? Clients are pre-approved and fully underwritten as a cash buyer. They will make a cash offer with no financing or appraisal contingency. And Evergreen will then buy the home on your client's behalf, and then we will transfer it after the permanent home loan is established. So just to give a review of some of the program updates we made. I know some of our realtor partners on the call today were also on the call back at the beginning of December. So again, we have some very much updated and improved, I guess, guidelines that we'd like to share with you. So prior to December 20th, we had a 1-point CashUp origination fee. That has been omitted, and we now have a flat administration fee of $1,950. This has provided huge cost savings to your buyer. As an example, previously, if your buyer ended up with a $500,000 loan amount, they would have been responsible for paying $5,000 in origination fee. Well, now instead of $5,000, it's only $1,950, which is just over 60% in cost savings. Another huge improvement is we went from a 20% required down payment down to only a 10% down payment. Biggest benefit here, of course, is it can help your potential first-time home buyers, and also your buyers who maybe are a little reluctant to exhaust that much money up front. Home buyers we help. So we did our best to condense this list as much as we could. If we had every single bullet point on here, it would probably take up 2 or 3 pages. So some of the biggest bullet points here on who we help. We help home buyers who are frustrated and discouraged because they cannot get their offer accepted. We help home buyers who are continually losing bids to all cash buyers who waive all contingencies. We help home buyers who sold their home and are potentially living in a hotel because they cannot get their offer accepted. And yes, this is actually a real life example that we experienced last year with one of our borrowers living in a hotel prior to moving into a house. We help home buyers with verified assets. We help home buyers purchasing most property types. The only exclusion is condos and manufactured homes, and all occupancy types. All occupancy types include, obviously, owner-occupied, second homes, and investment properties, which has really been popular. We also help home buyers who need to close in as little as 10 days. We help home buyers purchasing in the following 6 states: Washington, Oregon, California, Idaho, Arizona, and Nevada. And last but not least, we help home buyers who sold a home and need to move in right away. We provide a very popular rent-back option where that your buyer can get the keys and move into that new home immediately upon cash close. Benefits for real estate agents. So again, Evergreen is very committed to helping, where'd that go? Evergreen is committed to helping you, the real estate agent, succeed by offering innovative home loan programs like CashUp by Evergreen. How can we help your business? So let's ask some 3 questions, which I imagine the majority, if not all of you, can answer yes to. Have you lost a listing or sale to an iBuyer? Do you spend months working with clients only to have their offers not accepted? And are your clients frustrated with losing out on multiple offers? By partnering up with Evergreen and the CashUp program, you as a real estate agent do not need to work for a Fly Homes or Zillow in order to offer your client an all-cash offer product. And conversely, your buyer doesn't have to go work with an agent that's supplied by one of these companies. This cash offer program is so competitive due to the fact that it is all cash in this very hot market. We can close in such little time, and then obviously no financing, no appraisal contingency. So what agents are saying? Nicole Brown with Keller Williams out of the Keller Williams Paulsbo branch made mention that this was very easy with minimal things that were required from the clients because they were already pre-approved, and this made it where they could simply just concentrate on that home closing. Larry Lee Fresquez, also Keller Williams out of the West Seattle Keller Williams office. This is pretty amazing. Was in a multiple offer situation, and by partnering up with CashUp by Evergreen, was able to submit an all cash offer. It wasn't even the highest dollar amount, but again, it had the least amount of contingencies, and we could close in 10 days, and that's what ultimately got that buyer into the home. Top 3 tips from agents. So 1, be proactive with a listing agent. reach out to them, let them know about the title company up front. As far as title and escrow is concerned, we have conducted quite a bit of due diligence in partnering with the most trusted title and escrow company we can find in our various regions. What this does is it streamlines the process because that title escrow office and contact understands the program, knows how it works, and also we've done our very best to negotiate costs and reduce fees as much as possible. Number two, notify the listing agent. An appraiser will need access to the property. However, the appraisal is for the financing after cash close. Very important. As I've mentioned a couple times now, there is no appraisal contingency, but there will be the need for an appraisal in order to eventually close on that loan. Number three, ask your Evergreen loan officer to contact a listing agent after the offer is submitted to explain the benefits and answer any questions. I think in summary, it's very important that not only you as the buyer's agent, but also the listing agent really understands the benefits of this program, and that's where we really lean on that buying agent to help educate that listing agent as well. All right, now up we have our interview with Amy Trim. As mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, Amy Trim is a sales manager for the Everett, Washington branch. She has been nicknamed the Mortgage Mentor and has been in the industry since 1996 and absolutely loves her job, which I think you'll all see here in a couple seconds. By making sound financial decisions and minimizing the fear of the unknown, Amy believes home financing can be more enjoyable. She strives to provide sound advice, guidance, and options while making the home loan process both fun and empowering. Just to go a little off script here, Amy made mention to myself that she is very much a data geek and approaches the mortgage process very much like a dance or a complex jigsaw puzzle, where she's always trying to figure out the best way to put the pieces together in order to get to that final goal, which is putting her borrower into that home of their dreams. Welcome, Amy.
Hi, nice to meet everybody virtually. Yes, I feel like this should be a confession. I do love numbers, but I also like making numbers fun for my clients, which is a little weird, I know. But buying your first home, your fifth home, whatever number it is an exciting step, and it can be overwhelming. And my job really is to help hold the hand of the buyer, and with education and really good communication, keep that transaction fun and exciting for them. And really, we're excited to share the CashUp by Evergreen program today so that you have another tool in your tool belt. So Ken, let's get started. What you got for me?
All right, first question. When you host seminars or trainings for your real estate agent partners, what is the initial reaction to the CashUp program?
Sure. So I had one agent, she started rubbing her hands. She's like, "Ooh, we're going to have fun now," because really this is giving them an opportunity to have their clients' offers stand out. And buyers are kind of feeling unmotivated. They're giving up even in some cases. It's a little brutal out there for buyers. They're feeling beaten up. And this is going to reinvigorate them, remotivate them in this tough market, which gives you as agents, more transactions, which helps you achieve your 2022 goals.
Excellent. What are some common questions you hear from your agent partners?
Sure. So the three top questions that I'm getting is one about commissions. When does buyer's agent commissions get paid? And that is at the cash closing, which is in as little as 10 days. And you're done. Really, you get your commission. And then after the fact, we sell and transfer the home into the buyer's possession and close on the loan. But you get paid at cash closing. The second question that they ask is about the 10% down. Where can that come from? Do they need it in their checking and savings? And the answer is no. We have other options. They may have stocks or investments. They may have retirement funds that they can pull from. And we allow gift funds. So, they can get creative on how they come up with the 10% down. And the last question really is two-part, is about timing. First, how long does it take to be able to make that cash offer for their client? From application to final loan approval, fully underwritten pre-approval, is about 1 to 3 days, depending on the region or state that you're in and the cooperation of the client's employer. So 1 to 3 days, pretty quick. The second part of the timing question is, how long does it take to get that certificate from Evergreen when they find a home that they want to make an offer on? And that is up to 2 hours, 7 days a week. And, it's been as little as 30 minutes, but we like a couple hours. Poor Ken.
Yeah, and so, with that said, I am the man behind the scenes who's taking a look at the property and at your buyer's financial picture to make sure that they do, qualify for the CashUp program. So I've found myself constantly checking my email, refreshing my email to see these cash offer requests come in. With the improvements that we made at the end of December, activity has really picked up. I think I was working on a CashUp approval on both Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I had a couple that came in over the weekend as well. So, really, I feel like I'm a doctor right now with a pager on my hip. So that 2 hour turn time is definitely a max, and I think 30 minutes to 45 minutes is most likely more realistic. So very quick turnaround on helping your buyers out.
Which we love. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the biggest benefit of this program for your agent partners and clients?
Absolutely. So for the agents, the biggest benefit is to stand out with the buyers. So you're able to offer a product or a program basically that other agents aren't offering your buyers. And again, it keeps them motivated. It gives them a better opportunity to get their offer accepted. And for the buyers, it helps them stand out against other offers that they're competing against, puts them into a stronger position. And really, those are the top ways that we're able to stand out.
Excellent. So it's no surprise we're experiencing a highly competitive markets due in large part to low inventory. Do you see this program as a game changer for real estate agents and those agents' customers?
Absolutely. So, like I said, it helps clients' offers stand out. We close in as little as 10 days. And so that's really attractive. But let's get real. If you had your listing agent hat on right now, and you had presented two similar offers, one was cash closing in 10 days, the other was conventional 10% down, which one would you pick for your clients? Which one would you recommend? So we're really able to change the landscape for our agents and our clients with this program.
Excellent. If a client needs a competitive advantage when submitting an offer, however, they are not sure if the CashUp program is right for them, what do you recommend for next steps, Amy?
So pretty much, the CashUp by Evergreen program isn't going to be the best fit for each property or each circumstances when presenting the offer strategy. We have an alternative to that though. You can't combine them, but I call it Plan B. It's the backup plan that still offers something very attractive and helps the offer stand out. It's basically called a Security Plus Seller Guarantee Pre-Approval. And what that means is Evergreen is so confident in their pre-approval for their client that we are willing to put $5,000 on the table. We will pay the seller $5,000 if the buyer's financing falls through for any reason, even a job loss. we'll be out $5,000 because we're so confident in our pre-approval.
Excellent. All right, lastly, any advice on how real estate agents can get started with the CashUp program?
You bet. So it really starts with you thinking about who this could help. You know, I've seen the wheels turning in my lunch and learns with agents. They're thinking, ooh, you know, I have a client, they have 10% down or more, and they're already pre-approved maybe with another lender. They're thinking this could really give them an opportunity to get their offer accepted. So refer them to your loan officer here at Evergreen. And maybe it's a client who's coming up and waiting for more inventory to come on the market, or they've been waiting for a couple of years for the market to change, and they haven't been pre-approved yet. Get them into us. Let us go through that pre-approval process and get them ready to make that cash offer. So when they find that home that they love and want to make an offer an hour ago and the review time is in 4 hours, we can help them get into a home. So it all starts with finding a loan officer at Evergreen Home Loans or the loan officer that referred you to this webinar. And Ken's gonna tell you how to find one. But good luck out there and enjoy this program.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Amy, and sharing your experience. Very much appreciated.
You bet.
All right, we are now at the Q&A segment of our presentation. I'm sure Tamara has been answering questions as they've come in. It looks like we've had quite a few. It looks like I do have some questions geared directly to me. First question I see, is the 10% down program also available on investment property purchases? Great question. So, you know, what happens with these loans is we end up, what happens after cash close is we do put the borrower into a loan that needs to be agency eligible. So it needs to be sold to either Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. And so we do follow those agency guidelines. In this situation, there would need to be more down for that investment property in order to make that loan saleable to that investor. I believe that would be 15%, if I'm not mistaken. But that's something I can definitely check on. It's either 15% or 20%, but I'm pretty sure it's only 15%.
Yeah, you're correct, Ken. It's 85% loan to value on investment if it's one unit.
Great, thank you, Tamara. All right, next question thrown my way. Is there a vacant land option for this? Again, another great question. Unfortunately, no, we do not combine the CashUp program with vacant land. With that said, we do have a lot loan option at Evergreen. Again, you know, Evergreen's very much a full service mortgage lender. You know, serving the needs of all sorts of clients, whether it be high net worth, first time home buyers, down payment assistance, and housing finance agency loans, bridge loans. We kind of have the full entire suite that any big bank, you know, could offer, including land loans. But long story short, no, we do not combine CashUp with a land loan. All right, it looks like I don't see any other questions directly towards me. So again, it looks like Tamara handled majority of the questions, if not all the questions. Oh, one more came in. Let's see. Okay. Yep, I think that's all I see. So in conclusion, hopefully our real estate friends who are on this call, as well as a mix of LOs, found this presentation helpful. If you're not currently working, you know, with the Evergreen, well, first of all, contact your Evergreen loan officer if you have a potential deal or you want to partner up. As Amy mentioned, I think one of the best first steps is to get that borrower over to Evergreen and to get them through our very streamlined, you know, pre-approval underwriting, I guess, process. get that Security Plus approval behind them. But if you're not connected with an Evergreen loan officer, please, contact Evergreen by sending an email to CashUp at evergreenhomeloans.com. I am living in that inbox all day long, and if I get an email request from one of you agents, I will certainly set you up with a loan officer who can best serve your needs and is kind of more local to where your location is. So all we need is your name and zip code, and we'll set up that match.
So Ken, if we have a few more minutes, I actually have a lot more Q&A.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Do you mind if I just asked you some of the questions and then
Please
you can
do.
answer? Okay. Is this loan possible with a home sale contingency? So if they need to sell another home in order to do the cash up, could you comment on that?
Absolutely. So at this point in time, we do need to have those assets in place in order to verify that your buyer can, first and foremost, pay for the down payment. And also, if there's escalation, which in many markets we see a lot of escalations, we need to make sure that they can go up to that escalation price. It's funny, when this product started, and another reason why we had that 20% down requirement was because we were a little concerned about the risk of that appraised value not coming in at that escalated offer price. Well, over the past, with a year under our belt, we have never found that to be the case. This values continue to go up, and so that's another one of the reasons why we decided that it made sense to go down to that 10% down payment requirement. But again, we need to make sure that those assets are in place, listed on the 1003, in order to pay for down payment escalation and potential appraisal shortfall. So no, you cannot be in process of selling a home. You need to already have sold that departing residence.
Thank you. So the next question is, so if there is no financing contingency, what happens if the buyer loses their job? How is the earnest money handled?
Sure. So, that earnest money is in place in order to protect Evergreen first and foremost. So, in that situation, that earnest money is collected and held in escrow. And if for whatever reason Evergreen buys the home with Evergreen's cash, and something were to happen where we could not then get to the loan, closing, then Evergreen would retain that earnest money. That earnest money is not enough to even cover our costs associated with then turning around that home and getting it sold on the open market. So that earnest money is the minimum of 2%. So yeah, that's what would happen in that situation.
I think I've heard agents talk about our program as it's better than cash because it's backed by Evergreen. Evergreen will close with cash regardless. If the buyer loses their job, we close with cash. Absolutely.
And that's something, I'm glad you brought that up, Tamara, because we do create a very formal looking CashUp program guarantee certificate for the buyer's agent and the buyer to submit along with the offer. That does, it shows as proof of funds that yes, this is an all cash offer. It's backed by Evergreen Home Loans, and it's guaranteed.
Another really good question that came in is, how can we close in 10 days when appraisals are taking up to 2 weeks or longer to be completed?
Absolutely. So therein lies the no appraisal contingency, right? So we are not looking at the appraisal prior to closing with cash. That appraisal is waived, and that's why we made mention that appraisal typically will be ordered as soon as there is mutual acceptance and mutual offer acceptance in order to get that appraisal going. A question that we commonly get that was not addressed in this presentation: after cash close, we typically can close in that loan anywhere between 7 and 30 days, with 30 days definitely being a max. Typically, I think it's been around like the 15-day mark. So when you factor in both cash close and loan close, you're looking at less than 30 days. So very quick turnaround.
Another good question that came in was regarding the title and escrow. Can you tell us who the title and escrow companies are? Also, listing agents usually dictate who title and escrow will be. Will this be a problem if the title escrow isn't familiar for the agent with the CashUp program?
Yep. So great question. And again, that's we have really made great strides to partner with specific title and escrow companies, and that included really a vetting process to figure out, okay, who do we believe to be the easiest to work with. We went out to our LOs to get a good feel for those regional escrow and title offices, and figure out who they like to work with the best or the most. And again, that provides a much more streamlined overall process when you have a title escrow partner who really understands the nuts and bolts of this program. The last thing we want to do is have to train and retrain a bunch of different escrow and title offices who are not familiar with this really unique and niche product in the marketplace. So again, that creates a very streamlined process. As well as we've gone to great lengths to negotiate down fees as much as we possibly can. So all of a sudden, if we go with an escrow title company who's not familiar with the CashUp program, those fees will most likely be higher as a kind of a one-off transaction versus these kind of established relationships that we've already built.
So I believe we allotted for a lot of time for Q&A, and I do have more. So I have another. Good. Okay, take a drink of water if you need. Are we able to write in the offer any seller paid closing costs to help reduce title costs? So maybe if you can address seller paid costs.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Yes. So again, two different transactions, right? You have the cash close, you have the loan close, and the answer to that is simply yes. If there are some seller concessions that are being made, that would end up showing up on that loan close. Those would be factored in, and they would be credited back to that borrower on the settlement statement.
Great. And this is a really good one that we haven't talked about yet. Is Evergreen Home Loans listed as the buyer on the purchase and sale agreement?
Sure, great question. So typically Evergreen will be listed as nominee purchasing on behalf of that buyer. So your buyer is listed on the purchase and sale agreement. And I think that's very important. I think that's, a lot of agents and buyers are maybe a little nervous if their name is not listed on there. But yes, Evergreen is listed as nominee, and the buyer's name is on there as well.
And this is something that we're seeing more and more. I mean, we're lenders, but now that we're seeing contracts on our side more and more, Ken, we got this question that came in about the buyers releasing the earnest money when using this program. Is that allowed? We're seeing more and more buyers release the earnest money to the sellers.
Yep. So I'd like to use this as an example of just how nimble we are at Evergreen. At first, I think we were a little reluctant to simply just release that earnest money. But as Tamara mentioned, we're seeing this more and more and more, and we're hearing that from our loan officers as well. And then those questions are coming in saying, hey, we're seeing this a lot. To be more competitive. This is, you can throw this into the bucket of competitive measures that can be taken in order to win a deal. So the answer to that is yes. Yes, we can absolutely have that earnest money released directly to the seller. And the way we would handle that, I mean, we are a mortgage company. We are not a real estate company. So we do our best to kind of leave those sort of details in the hands of you, the real estate agent. We typically try not to get too involved kind of with that process. So that is negotiation between buyer's agent and buyer, and seller's agent and seller.
So let's talk about home inspections. Can the home inspection be waived with this program?
It's a kind of an interesting way to tackle this question. In many of our markets, there already is a seller paid inspection in place. In that situation, there are zero contingencies on that cash close because that inspection is already in place. We do need to look at that inspection in order to eliminate risk on Evergreen's side. I will say we're only looking for, quote unquote, health and safety issues in that inspection. These are issues that very much stand out. Typically, that inspection report will call out in bright red. This is a critical, fatal type issue with the property. Those are what we're looking for. If they're kind of run-of-the-mill issues, there needs to be some carbon monoxide and fire alarms with, they need new batteries. Those aren't the things we're necessarily looking for, because eventually that appraisal is going to catch a lot of those as well. But yes, we do need that inspection to be in place prior to cash close.
So you would think that there would be a higher interest rate involved to the borrower doing this kind of program. But can you talk about, is there any difference to the borrower on the interest rate doing this versus a normal transaction?
Absolutely not. No, there's no markup. There's no increase to rate. There's no increase to points on that loan close. This is very much a program where we want to assist you, the real estate agent, in the best way we possibly can. And in a way, our reward is helping you, the agent, your buyer. And then our reward at the very end of it is we get that permanent financing, and we get to take care of that your buyer even further by having them become a borrower of Evergreen Home
Loans. I don't know if we touched on this, but a question on the earnest money. Is there a minimum earnest money required to do this program?
Absolutely. So it is 2% is the minimum. When this program was initially vetted and prior to launch, the thinking was we'd go out with a 5% earnest money. And that's because that's what a lot of the competition were doing. And, we were looking very closely at what the competitive landscape looked like. And so we thought it would make sense to also go out with 5%. What we quickly realized was that ended up being a pretty substantial barrier to your buyers. They did not like the idea of potentially parting ways with entire 5%. I must say we've never ever had an issue with holding earnest money. I don't expect us to ever have an issue with having to hold that earnest money. But reducing that earnest money from the 5% down to the minimum 2% did make this program much more attractive to your buyers.
We've got lots of great questions from the agents here. Anything we don't cover, we encourage you to get in touch with an Evergreen loan officer, and they can go in much more detail. But there is something I think would be important to cover, Ken, is can you talk to us a little bit about when can the buyer move in? Can they move in right after the cash close?
Certainly. Yep. And that's what we call the rent back option. So huge advantage of this program, especially if that buyer is having to potentially, they're living with family, they're living in a hotel type situation, they're camping in the woods. That's never happened that I know of. But yes, as soon as we close on that cash, with cash in the little 10 days, on that same day, you as the buyer's agent can hand your buyer the keys and say, welcome to your new home. Obviously Evergreen still technically is the owner of that home until that financing is passed on to that borrower. But we just think that this is a huge benefit for the buyer. And the last thing we want to do is have, your buyer displaced for any amount of time.
And then a few questions. if we've got the verbiage here, but some of the agents were wanting to know about how the contract is written with the nominee language with an addendum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So being that we are in 6 different states, it seems like some of that language is a little bit different by state. You know, you get in kind of the legal aspect of that verbiage and how that contract works. I know in the state of Washington, there's a Form 34. I think in other states they're called, you know, different names. But you know, all in all, they're all fairly standard as far as how they're written, which very much is, you know, Evergreen as nominee for your buyer's name. And yes, there is an addendum that goes along with that purchase and sale that is signed by yours truly, and that's included with at loan close. I'm sorry, at cash close.
Okay, I think that's a majority of our Q&A. So I would encourage the agents on our webinar today to please get in touch with an Evergreen loan officer if you are working with one. And if not, Ken, you've got the email here that
Yep.
they can reach out to, and we'll get back to you right away.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Both our partner real estate agents, as well as some of our LOs I know are also on this call. I can't tell you how much we appreciate the partnership. And if you haven't already figured this out, we are here to support you. You know, you real estate agents are extremely important to what we're doing here. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your week.